Hi, and welcome to this video series, Vectorworks. It's the small theater exercise continued. And in this series, I would like to talk a little bit about page layout and printing, how we're actually able to move our information from the drawing that we've done and be able to put it on a piece of paper in scale so that other people can use it, whether that's a stage manager or an electrician or another designer or whoever. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is the drawing that we've been working on, and we've been working in a series of design layers. Right? I think that we have established two design layers, one in lighting and one in theater architecture, and it really doesn't matter where we're in right now, right? So, in this design layer, we can draw wherever we want, right? We have no boundaries. I can draw a shape over there. I can zoom way out and draw a shape way over here. we are not limited by any sort of space. I'm just going to do a Control Z and come back to where my drawing is kind of normal. And so let's talk a little bit about paper space and paper setup. If you go to your File pull-down menu and we go down near the bottom, there is a page setup option. So let's click on Page Setup and you'll get this little Page Setup boundary. And if I just say click on the Show Page Boundary, which some of you may have either turned off before or it may still be on, and say OK, it'll put this little gray box, right? And if I zoom in a little bit, this is a little gray box and it represents a piece of paper, right? This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and obviously we see that it doesn't fit our drawing very well. Right? So let's change that a little bit, and I'll talk a little bit about common page sizes. Let's go to Page Setup. All these instructions are based on PC. I'll see if I can't do another video on Page Setup for Macs. It's a little different, but the concept is basically the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my printer setup. And inside of my printer setup, my default is an Adobe PDF. And I probably have other options. I have my native printer that I have at home. I have Microsoft to PDF, a couple other options, but I'm going to stay with my Adobe PDF. And what I'm after here is the paper size. So I'm going to go to my paper size, and I see all these options. And down here are letter and legal and ledger. The common drafting sizes are listed as architectural size, architectural A, B, C, D, and E. And I will tell you that D and E are the most common. Architectural D is 24 inches by 36 inches. So in a landscape mode, it's 36 inches wide by 24 inches high. Arc E is a larger size, and that's 36 inches high by 46 inches wide. And that's a pretty big piece of paper. This is you can have these drawings printed at almost any Staples or Office Max or Office Depot, anybody that does large format printing, and they're not that expensive. So for like a black and white architectural E, might be $6 or $8, right? But it's a way that you can print a paper. Let's go ahead and deal with an architectural E, which should be 24 by 36. I'm going to say OK. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to change it. Rather than portrait mode, where it's vertical, I'm going to go ahead and go to landscape mode so that it goes left to right. And I will say OK. If I look now in my printable area, it says that it's 36 inches wide by 24 inches high. Don't try and change anything here, right? Let that come from your printer setup. The other thing that we want to do is you'll have options up here under size, and it may show arc A, B, C, D, E. But let's just stay in one printer page. And if you just check this and say one printer page, everything should work out pretty well. And let's say OK. Right? So now you can see that our gray page boundary has changed. Right? It's now wider than it is tall, and it's bigger. So there is an option up here under the pan tool. Remember, our tools that have the little black triangle in the lower right hand side have more options. If I right click there, I'll see that I have page move, and I can now move that page to wherever I want. I can grab the page and I can move it around, right? So that's the page setup feature that's under files, and when we come back we'll look at some more layout options. If I were to print right now, I would print to this size page. It would print as a PDF, and it would print everything that's included on that page, which is good, but we can do better. And I'll see you again in a few minutes.